One of the first to come out with a phone featuring a 1080p display. The first to come out with a phone running Cyanogen mod out of the box. The first again to come out with a swiveling camera on a smartphone. For a relatively new smartphone manufacturer, Oppo's had quite a few number of firsts. For the first time, with the Find 7, Oppo is not an unknown manufacturer. Thanks to all the hype surrounding Cyanogen mod and the Oppo N1, the Find 7 is a phone that a lot of people have been looking forward to. So how does Oppo deal with these expectations? In this video, we're gonna take a close look at the Find 7a, the younger sibling to the 2K display toting Find 7. Is it any good? That's what we aim to find out. Before we do, if this is your first time here or in case you just haven't been paying attention, my name's Ash and you're watching C4E Tech. Let's get started. So let's start with the build. Though the Find 7a resembles the Find 5 in a lot of ways, the dim capacitive keys at the bottom, metal frame and the overall design, there are quite a few differences as well. For instance, the display is bigger this time around at 5.5 inches. The back surprisingly is user removable, and here we find the dual speakers, 2800 mAh user replaceable battery, microSIM and microSD card slots. The Find 7a supports up to 128GB microSD cards. That's nice given that the internal storage is just 16 gigs. The notification LED at the bottom is also a very nice touch. Lower below we have the microUSB port. This has extra connections to be utilized by the rapid charger that's included in the box. And this charger is just amazing. Oppo promises from 0 to 75% charge in just 30 minutes. Maybe they underpromised, maybe they were talking about the Find 7's larger battery. In real-time tests, my battery went from 4 to 79% in just 23 minutes. That's just amazing. Well, yes, these results cannot be replicated with a normal charger and you'd have to use the rapid charger that came with the Find 7a, but still, I'd rather have this feature on my phone over, say, a heart rate sensor. Anyway, okay, I'm just having fun, guys. Don't hate me already. Moving on, weighing in at 170 grams and at a thickness of 9.2 millimeters, the Find 7a isn't really the slimmest or lightest phone around, not by a long shot. But surprisingly, the phone doesn't feel heavy at all. It feels solid and the weight feels evenly distributed. Unlike other phones with similar display sizes like the Note 2 or say the Note 3 Neo, the Find 7a is narrower. To give you some perspective, it's just 1mm wider than the Xperia Z1. Add to that the curved back and the fact that the sides curve inwards, the Find 7a is comfortable to hold in one hand. But then again, holding it in one hand and actually using it are two different things. What Oppo sacrifices in width, they need to make up for it in length. This means there's a lot of awkward reaching that needs to be done. Whether it's hitting an icon at the top row or pulling down the notification bar, a lot of maneuvering is required. But Oppo does give you quite a few software-based workarounds and we will talk more about them when we get to the software part of this video. But the bottom line is, the phone feels great in hand and you need to just keep in mind that single-handed usage is just not possible at all times. That's not a knock at Oppo anyway. Rather, it's just an indication of the current trends today. Anyway, that's a whole discussion for a different day. So coming back, the Find 7a sports a Gorilla Glass 3 covered 5.5-inch 1080p IPS display, giving it a pixel density of 401 pixels per inch. The display is crisp, sharp and produces natural colors. The viewing angles are great and sunlight legibility is pretty decent too. Now underneath the hood, the Find 7a is powered by a Snapdragon 801 chipset that houses 4 Krait 400 cores, clocked at 2.3 GHz each, coupled with an Adreno 330 GPU and 2 gigs of RAM. As expected, the Find 7a benchmarks great and handles any graphically intensive game thrown at it with ease. The audio output via the internal speakers are pretty loud and clear. When it comes to volume levels and clarity, the Find 7a can give the best of smartphone speakers a run for their money. The audio via the included earphones is pretty good too. All this is powered by a user replaceable 2800 mAh battery and the battery life is great. On a looping video playback tests, the Find 7a lasted a little over 9 hours before running out of juice. It's also worth noting that the Find 7 and the Find 7a's batteries are identical in size, so you can swap the 2800 mAh battery with a 3000 mAh battery from the Find 7 in the future if you need to do so. But even with the 2800 mAh battery, getting through a day with moderate to heavy usage shouldn't be an issue. But anyway, if you run out of charge, it's just going to take you about 30 minutes to get back to 80%. So now on the back, the Find 7 has a 13 megapixel XMORE-RS IMX214 sensor, a f2.0 lens, and Oppo's Pure Image 2.0 image processor. Well, it isn't the best out there. It can shoot some really good pictures. Colors are accurate. Under good lighting conditions, there's a lot of detail. The camera even boasts of a mode that was initially called Super Zoom and now HD Picture. In this mode, the camera takes 10 shots and stitches together the best 4 to provide a mammoth 50 megapixel picture. While this is all software and is not going to replace the Lumia 1020 as the king of camera phones anytime soon, it is more than a gimmick. Zoomed in, these pictures have more detail and can be useful if you want to print out something huge. The camera UI is also equally impressive with a ton of options. The interface is minimalistic and clean, and though there are a lot of options, they are pretty self-explanatory. The Find 7a also supports 4K video recording at 30 frames per second, and unlike phones from leading manufacturers, there is no time limit here. Basically, you could record till you run out of space, and the results are pretty good. Slow motion video recording 720p at 120 frames per second is yet another feature packed in here. Now moving on to software, the Find 7a runs on Android 4.3 with Oppo's own ColorOS on top. Yes, it's not KitKat, but the reason it isn't is because Oppo uses a heavy skin loaded with a lot of features, and updating to a newer version of Android takes a bit more time for Oppo. But that's not saying that they don't support their phones, because they actually do. Oppo devices usually receive at least a single update per month, fixing bugs or adding new features. I guess I've mentioned this in my earlier reviews of Oppo devices, but in case you haven't seen one, most of these features you see on ColorOS start out as feature requests on the Oppo forums. This is something I absolutely adore about Oppo. This also means that most of these are features that you and I want, instead of marketing gimmicks. Features like tap to unlock, gestures on the notification bar, double tapping the home key to sleep, 2-finger volume controls, 3-finger screenshots are all features I find myself adopting more and more the longer I use an Oppo device. Gestures like swiping to pull down the notification bar definitely help with single-handed usage. ColorOS is also pretty customizable, letting you choose between a lot of effects and full screen widgets that Oppo calls exclusive space. And then there are themes. With themes, you can change everything from the icons to the lock screen styles, and there's quite a lot of them. As far as performance goes, ColorOS on the Find 7a is very smooth. The device feels responsive and snappy. You don't see frame rates dropped or any kind of lag. Well, if you still feel ColorOS isn't for you, Oppo devices are generally very developer friendly. You could very well flash a ROM of your choice, the bootloader is unlocked, they don't charge extra for developer editions, and that means the whole process is very easy. And with that, we get to the price. The Find 7a is available for about $500, and that's a good $150 to $200 clear of most flagships from big name brands. At this price, I feel the Find 7a is definitely a phone to consider. Well, if you want to pick one up, you can do that from merrymobiles.com. I'll leave a direct link right below the like button in the description. So what do you guys think? With most major manufacturers deciding to play it safe and providing incrementally updated version of last year's flagships, do you think that the proverbial door has been left open for someone like Oppo? Or do you think that brand value is still too important for the masses to even give someone like Oppo a try? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Anyway, I guess that pretty much wraps up this review. I will be reviewing the Oppo Find 7, the 2K version, whenever I can get my hands on it, so make sure you stay subscribed, and before you leave, I'd be grateful if you guys could give this video a thumbs up. If you liked it, that is. And I really hope you guys did like the video, and even if you didn't, just make sure you let me know what you feel that I could do differently, and I'll try to incorporate it in my next video. And I guess that's it though, so thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you guys soon on the next one. Till then, this is Ash here from C4E Tech signing off. You guys have a great day. Bye bye now.